Good morning, grade 9s. Welcome back to Tuesday, the 21st of April. It's day 2 today, and we are continuing with grade 9 equations with fractions. All right, so these might seem a little bit more tricky, a little bit more intricate, but let's just take it step by step, and I'm sure you'll be able to do it quite well at the end of this video. Okay. So let's have a look at this example. X minus 1 minus x over 3 is equal to x plus 1 over 3. Right, remember what I said. If you are given a fraction, you are forced into fractions. Step 1, make each term a fraction. All right, so you're going to put x over 1 minus 1 over 1 minus, that was already a fraction, and that was also already a fraction. Then you look, step 2, what is the LCD? The LCD is going to be 3. So you want to change each and every denominator to 3. Remember that term just stayed exactly like that. This term as well. But x over 1 became 3x over 3. How did I do that? I times 1 times 3 gives you 3. What I do at the bottom, I have to do on top. So x times 3 is 3x. And 1 over 1, I just changed it. I changed the denominator to over 3. How did I get that? I times it by 3. What I do at the bottom, I have to do on top. 1 times 3 is 3. But again, if you look back, 3 over 3 is 1. Okay, is that 1? And 3x over 3 is just an x. Okay, so why do we make them all the same? So that we can drop it like it's hot. Okay, so then you drop it like it's hot. Again, always remember only with equations. You do not do that with algebraic expressions. Okay, then you're left with the top 3x minus 3 minus x is equal to x plus 1. Simplify that side to 2x minus 3 is equal to x plus 1. And then you keep your like terms on the one side. How do I do that? By doing the inverse. Plus x becomes a minus x. So it's x is equal to 4. Okay, let's have a look at example 2. Okay, so now you've got x over 2 minus 2 bracket x minus 1 is equal to 4x plus 7 over 2 plus 2. They've given me fractions. I am forced to make everything a fraction. All right, so what you can do is you can keep that whole thing as one term there on top, okay? Because remember, a term is separated by a plus or minus unless it's in a bracket. So that negative 2 times by x minus 1 is one term. So you can keep that one term and make it all over 1. And that 2, to change it into a fraction, you also put it over 1. I will show you later down where you could have first multiplied out and then put them all over 2. So I'll just show you that after this. Okay, so then you've got x minus 2 minus, you put that all over 1. So everything has to be multiplied by 2 to get it to a common denominator of 2. What you do at the bottom, you have to do on top. So please remember, when you've got a number multiplied with a bracket, what did you do? The operation you did at the bottom, you multiplied by 2. It's only applicable to the front 2 there. So you're going to say 2 times 2 is 4. And remember, that is already now going to go into the bracket. So it will multiply with the terms inside. So that times 2 is only by the term there in front. Okay, so then you're going to say times by 2. That will give you 1 times 2 is 2. And 2 times 2 is 4. And the bracket x minus 1 stays the same inside there. Is equal to 4x plus 7 over 2. That didn't change. It was already over 2. And over here, the 2 just became 4 over 2. 4 over 2 is most 2. Okay, how did I get it to 2? 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, then you've got all your denominators the same. You're going to drop it like it's hot. And what are you left with? X minus 4, bracket x minus 1, close bracket, is equal to 4x plus 7 plus 4. Distribute that. Simplify that side. Simplify this side. And then you find your answer is x is equal to negative 1. Just want to quickly show you where I showed you here in the beginning. Maybe it's a little bit easier for some. where instead of keeping that one term, let's say you wanted to simplify that out. So at the bottom here, so you've got x over 2 minus 2 bracket x minus 1. So this was the original sum. So what you could have done first is you could have distributed that negative 2 in there. So then you were left with x over 2 minus, negative 2 times x is negative 2x, minus times a minus is a plus, and 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, equals to 4x plus 7 over 2 plus 2. So up to there, the first step you did is you distributed. So maybe this was easier for you. And then you can say, all right, I need to make all my denominators 2. My LCD is going to be 2. And first you're going to put them all over 1 to make them a fraction. And then you're going to times each one by 2 there to get all your LCD 2. Maybe that is an easier way for some instead of keeping it as one term. Okay, and let's look at example 3. Okay, now we've got 2 terms on top of that fraction. I know it's one term over there, but you've got 2 little terms. So let's just take it step by step. So if you have a look at it, step 1, fractions. You force into fractions. What do I need to do to the 1? I need to put it over 1 because that's the only one that was not a fraction. Then you have a look. I've got a 1, okay, and that became then 1 over 1. I've got a 1, I've got a 2, I've got an 8, I've got a 4. What is the LCD? Okay, always go to the bigger one. It's 8. Then you ask yourself, can 4 go into 8? Can 2 go into 8? Can 1 go into 8? Yes, your LCD is 8. Okay, then you place them each over 8. How did I get 4 to 8? I times it by 2. What I do at the bottom is I do it on top. Okay, now, very important. Unlike that first question or the example 2 that we did, there was a number here in front, and then I said to you only the number gets multiplied. But now that times by 2 is for the whole 2 terms there on top, y plus 3. So you have to say 2 times y is 2y, and 2 times 3 is 6. So some of you might like to skip that part where you have to put the 2 in front. I'm just showing you little baby steps so that you can follow maybe a little bit more clearly. But if you times by 2, remember please, you times each term there by 2. Okay, that one didn't change because it was an 8. This one changed. I had to times it by 4. 2 times 4 gives you 8. What I do at the bottom, I have to do on top. Y times 4 is 4y. And 1 times 8, that 1 became 8 over 8. Okay. Then, I've got the same. I'm going to drop it like it's hot. And what am I left with? So please, now you can go and distribute that 2 in there if you haven't already. 2 times y is 2y. Plus 2 times 3 is 6. Minus, now very, very important. I even made a little squiggly here to remind me to remind you that if you bring down, and I think I said this somewhere in a previous video, when you bring it down off its high horse, I said it like that, when you bring that y plus 2, because there's 2 terms in there, if you bring it down and it comes and stands on the ground, you have to put a negative in front because that negative is applicable to the y and to the 2. So to help you remind you, about that, please, you're going to put it into brackets. Then you have to distribute that negative first, because lots of you always forget. You bring it down and you just write negative y plus 2, where indeed you will see that it becomes negative y minus 2. Okay, so sorry for the movement there, is equal to 4y minus 8. So very important. I even wrote here NB, very important to add these brackets because that negative belongs to the y and to the 2. It means it has to be distributed to the y and to the 2. Okay, so then you can see you're left with 2y plus 6 minus y minus 2. So over there, I can guarantee you some will make that mistake. So please, in the exams, we always check, when you took it off its high horse, especially if it's one term, it doesn't matter because that term in the sign in front is already applicable to that one. But over here, there's two terms, and that negative has to be distributed, or has to be multiplied, sorry, into the y and the negative 2. And the positive 2 to become a negative 2. Okay, I hope you understand that. Please remember that. I always say, as you take him, as you pick him off his high horse and he comes and stands on the ground, what do you need to do? No, wait, you have to put him in brackets. You have to cotton wool him first, because I have to distribute that sign in front into those into that bracket to both terms. Okay, then you're left with 2y plus 6 minus y minus 2 is equal to 4y minus 8. And then first, please, your steps, simplify this side. That side is already simplified. You can't simplify anymore. And after you've simplified, 2y minus y is y, and 6 minus 2 is 4. Then you start throwing over to bring your like terms to each side, or to the same side. Then you've got y minus 4y is negative 3y. Minus 8 minus 4 is negative 12. What is happening to that y? It's being multiplied by negative 3. What is the inverse, or what is the inverse operation of multiplying with negative 3? Dividing with negative 3. What you do on the one side, you have to do on the other side. And you get y is 4. Okay, just want to make sure. Yes, that is it for today. Don't stress about tomorrow. Tomorrow is a little bit easier than today. I think up to today's work is the hardest that you can get. So if you are fine with today's work, you've done great. Well done. Okay, please go and do your homework and enjoy your day. Thanks, grade 9s. Bye.